I am 74 years old. I am sitting on my porch with a cup of tea that went cold an hour ago, and I have not bothered to go inside and make another one. The wind smells like wet leaves and wood smoke. November does that. It strips everything down. The trees are bare now. You can see through them all the way to the ridge. I built this house. Took me 3 years, working weekends and evenings after my shift at the mill. I did not hire anyone, did not ask for help. I wanted to prove I could do it alone, and I did. That was 42 years ago. I have lived here ever since. Alone. People used to say I was independent, self-sufficient, a man who did not need anyone. I liked hearing that. It felt like strength. Now I know what it actually was. I grew up the youngest of 5 brothers. My father worked the land, and we worked it with him. There was always noise. Always someone needing something, asking something, breaking something. My mother cooked for 7 people every night, and the house smelled like onions and bacon grease and sweat. I could not wait to leave. When I turned 18, I moved 2 counties over and got a job at the lumber mill. I rented a room above a hardware store. It was quiet. It was mine. No one told me what to do or when to eat or how to spend my Sunday. I thought that was freedom. I worked hard, saved money, did not go to bars much, did not date much either. I told myself I was focused, building something. Women were distractions. Friends were distractions. I had a plan. The plan was simple: buy land, build a house, live on my own terms. And I did it. By the time I was 32, I had 20 acres and a foundation poured. I worked on that house every spare hour I had. I learned plumbing from a book. I learned wiring from a man at the supply yard who owed me a favor. I cut every board myself. People would stop by sometimes, neighbors, a cousin. They would offer to help. I always said no. I did not want to owe anyone anything. I did not want anyone thinking they had a claim on what I was building. This was mine. I was doing it my way. One Saturday, my brother Samuel drove out with his 2 boys. They were maybe 8 and 10 at the time. He said they wanted to see the house. He brought sandwiches and a cooler of beer. I was working on the roof. I told him I was busy. I told him I would visit when I had time. He looked at me for a long time. Then he loaded the boys back in the truck and left. I did not see him again for 6 years. I finished the house in 1983, moved in that October. It was perfect, quiet, clean. No one around to bother me. I could sit on this porch and not hear a single voice for days. I kept working at the mill. I kept to myself. I did not go to church. I did not join anything. I fixed my own truck. I grew my own vegetables. I chopped my own wood. I was proud of that. People stopped inviting me to things after a while. Weddings, barbecues, Christmas dinners. I had said no enough times that they got the message. That was fine with me. I did not need them. My father died in 1991. Heart attack. He was 68. I went to the funeral. I stood in the back. I did not cry. I shook hands with my brothers and got in my truck and drove home. Samuel called me a week later. He asked if I wanted to come over for Sunday dinner. Bring nothing, he said. Just come. I told him I had work to do on the house. He did not call again. My mother lasted another 12 years. She had a stroke in 2000. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks before she passed. I visited her once. She could not talk by then. She looked at me with those tired eyes. and I did not know what to say. I stood there for maybe 10 minutes. Then I left. At her funeral, my brothers and their families stood together, laughing, crying, holding each other. I stood off to the side. I did not know their children's names. I did not know what my brothers did for work anymore. They were strangers, and I was the one who made it that way. After the service, Samuel's youngest boy came up to me. He was maybe 16. He asked if I was Uncle Silas. I said yes. He said his dad talked about me sometimes, said I was the one who never needed anybody. He said it like it was a compliment. I nodded. I shook his hand. I left. I have not seen any of them since. The years went by. I kept working. I retired at 67. They gave me a plaque and a handshake. I did not go to the party they threw. I came home, and I have been here ever since. The house is still standing. The roof does not leak. The floors do not creak. Everything works, but no one comes here. No one calls. I have a phone. I have had the same number for 30 years. It rings maybe once, usually someone trying to sell me something. I used to think that was fine. I used to think I preferred it that way. But something happened last winter that I cannot stop thinking about. I slipped on the ice coming off the porch, cracked 2 ribs. I laid there in the snow for maybe 20 minutes before I could get myself up. The whole time I was lying there, I kept thinking, what if I could not get up? What if this was it? Who would find me? How long would it take? I got myself inside. I did not go to the doctor. I just sat in that chair by the window and waited for the ribs to heal. And I realized something. I built this house with my own hands. I lived here for over 40 years. I did everything myself. I did not owe anyone anything. But I also do not have anyone. Not one person who would check on me if I did not answer the phone. Not one person who knows what I am doing on a Saturday afternoon. Not one person who would notice if I was gone. I thought independence meant strength. But what I built was not. It was a wall, and now I am on the wrong side of it. I think about Samuel sometimes. I think about those Sunday dinners I said no to. I think about his boys, grown men now, with families of their own. I could have been a part of that. I could have said yes, but I was too proud, too certain that I did not need anyone, too afraid that if I let people in, I would lose something. And I did lose something. I lost 40 years. You cannot get that back. You cannot call someone after 40 years of silence and expect them to care. You cannot show up at a family reunion and pretend you were always there. The door closes, quietly, without you noticing. And then one day you turn around and there is no one left on the other side. I am not telling you this because I want your pity. I do not. I am telling you this because I see it now. I see young men who think the same way I did, who think that being alone is the same as being strong, who think that needing people is weak. It is not weak, it is human. I was so afraid of owing anyone anything that I made sure no one owed me anything either. And now I have a house that will stand for another 100 years. But I will die in it alone. There is no wife to sit with, no children to call, no grandchildren to visit, no neighbors who would think to knock on the door. Just me and this porch and that cold cup of tea. If I could go back, I would say yes to Samuel that day he brought his boys. I would go to those Sunday dinners. I would learn their names. I would let them help me with the roof. I would let people in, but I cannot go back. So I sit here, and I watch the leaves fall. And I wonder what it would have been like to have someone to watch them with. That not money, not time, not effort. The cost is knowing that you built the prison yourself and realizing it when there is no one left to open the door. I do not know how much time I have left, maybe a year, maybe 10, but I know this. However much time it is, I will spend it alone, because that is what I built. So I will ask you this. What are you building? If my story resonates with you, like and share this video, leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Subscribe, because I have more truth to share with you.